A great real estate deal doesn't mean that somebody loses. The best outcome is when it's a win-win situation. So whether you're buying or selling, here's how to negotiate with clarity, with confidence, and with integrity so that everyone walks away as satisfied as possible. Recently, I've worked with a buyer and a seller who were both very emotionally invested in a certain property. The property had been in the seller's family for a couple decades. The buyer, they were a first-time home buyer. So at first, negotiations were a little bit tense. The seller, they had a lot of memories in the home. They had done a lot of customizations that they liked on the home that they thought brought some value. And my buyers, they were looking at the home as their first investment. They didn't have a lot of money to work with, so what they were worried about was the repairs. And like I said, at first negotiations were a little bit tense, but by keeping the focus on the shared goals like respect, transparency, and timing, we were able to find a solution where both sides felt good about the deal. In this particular case, the seller wanted a certain price. My buyers, again, they were seeing the repairs, so we ended up agreeing to give the seller the price, but the seller was going to give us, I think in this case, like $15,000 towards the buyer's closing costs. That way they can allocate those funds towards those repairs afterwards. And at the end of the day, it became a win-win situation. Seller sold their house, buyer was able to purchase and do those repairs after closing. Key point number one, understand the motivation behind the other side. Too often people jump into the negotiation with just their own goals in mind. But if you take the time to understand what the other party truly needs, whether it's a quick closing, specific terms, or an emotional closure, you can shape your offer or counter offer in a way that feels collaborative, not combative. So usually when a client shows interest in submitting an offer on a property, my first phone call is to the listing agent, and I usually ask them a couple questions just to see what's important to the seller. You know, whether they're moving somewhere else, they have a specific timeline they need, or any kind of information that will help me be able to leverage whatever we're needing on our end to be able to move forward with that offer and both sides have that win-win. Key point number two, stick to the big picture. It's easy to get hung up on small things like light fixtures, closing dates, or a few hundred or a few $1,000s in savings, but zoom out. Are you moving towards the bigger life goal, buying your next home or selling to start a new chapter? Keeping the perspective helps you stay calm and flexible, which is exactly what creates that win-win momentum. There's many times during the transaction, especially after like an inspection report or after the appraisal, sometimes the only thing holding us back is a very minor repair. Let's say it's $500. And neither side wants to move forward just because in that moment they're just in the emotion. It's very important to have a good agent that can see that big picture and bring back, okay, are you willing to lose your deposits in this house over this $500 repair? And on the seller side, same thing. Are you willing to lose out on this buyer's offer and go back on market over these $500? And sometimes you just have to negotiate and come to an outcome, maybe split in the middle and have that win-win in order to move forward in that transaction. Key point number three, work with a pro who can keep it civil. Emotions run high, very high in some cases in real estate. That's why having a calm, experienced agent in your corner matters. My job is to communicate clearly, de-escalate tensions, and find solutions that move the deal forward without anyone feeling steamrolled. And many times it just comes down to even the agents. Sometimes agents have ego that clashes, and maybe one agent or both agents have that, instead of a win-win, they just want to be the winners. And sometimes that's what causes a transaction to fall through. So it's very important to have a level-headed agent who can kind of see through all that and come up with the solution in order to keep things running as smoothly as possible. So if you're thinking about buying or selling here in the Charlotte area, let's talk. I'm here to help you get the best deal, but most importantly, the right deal. So reach out at any time for a no pressure consultation, and we'll definitely take care of you.